What's up? What's up, jerks? I was hoping to go live earlier today, but just didn't work out. Life definitely got in the way. So much stuff going on right now. It's juggling a lot right now. Obviously, it's been an amazing run, this whole Karen Reed thing, and just when I think I'm going to slow down, I kept saying I'm slowing down, slowing down. Today reminded me I'm not slowing down. This is no slowing down. It's trying to fit in what I want to do every day, which is do a show. I always want to do a show, even on my days off. And today I knew I needed to do a show. And I'm like, how am I going to fit this in? And I'm just like, I'm doing it. F it. I'm doing it. I'm going live. I don't care. I need to see my people. I may need to even vent tonight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You could tell there's a couple people got mad at me. They're coming at me. This woman, the because I cut her off on my show the other day because I didn't like the call. I just didn't like the call. That was it. It's funny. And but they couldn't. I think it's like they're trying to get a little rise. Like they got a YouTube channel. And I saw it. They only had like 80. They went after me and they only had like 80 views. I was like, that's embarrassing. If you're going to use my name, at least get more than 80 views doing it. Come on. You got to work harder. So, anyways, I guess that reconfirms my judgment to cut that call off because only 80 people wanted to hear it. A lot more people are watching over here right now. I don't even know. I'm looking. How many people are watching? 472 right now, right out of the gate. There we go. 500. Just going to keep going up. But it's hot out there today. Man, I want to talk about some stuff. Not about the stuff that pisses me off or irritates me for a second. I want to talk about yeah, I love the numbers. Yeah, numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Do you know that they used to call me the money man? If uh if anyone if anyone knows anybody that works at Shriners Hospital in Boston, especially the long time Shriners Hospital Boston people, if they're still there, they're probably gone because it's been decades. But I was there for like 5 years, just as their one of the main financial advisors that would go in there and work with the nurses and the doctors and the dishwashers and the cooks because they had a cafeteria and all the custodial. And I would sign them up for their retirement 403B plan. I was one of the options there, and I would show up the most compared to the competition. So they loved me. I would sponsor the softball team, but my nickname was the Money Man. The Money Man is here. And that's what I try to do in life. I try to deliver. I try to under promise, over deliver. I'm not big into schmoozing. I'm not big in being people's best friend to get ahead. I'm big about just doing the work and enjoying it and loving what we do. And the last couple of years, man, it's been amazing. And I just got to say, we're going to continue. There's so much more upcoming. And that's why I'm live today again. And it's like Grace Curley said on the RKO show that she has, or no, it's not even RKO, it's on RKO, but it's a Howie Carr radio network. They're syndicated, they're on stations all over New England. But she said to me off the air and I think on the air too, like we all thought this was going to be like maybe the last show. Like even I was saying that to my crew. I'm said like I wonder how many more Grace Curley shows I'm going to do because like I'm a regular Friday guest now. And when is this going to end with the Karen Reed? And one of the last shows, like right before the verdict, we said this could be it. This may be or even right after the verdict, we said this might be the last show. But I have a feeling it's not, and it's not. We're just going to continue. Like we're it's just like never ending. And today, we're finding about more state police. I'm getting more phone calls about Massachusetts State Police, and journalists are trying to track it down. Who's the latest? Is Guarino? Is Guarino next? That's the big rumor. Guarino is next, but we know Yuri Buchanan has been demoted. That's the news of the last couple days that I am so excited about and happy about to see more repercussions coming to these guys. All of these guys. There's a list of them who have been rehomed, retired, moving on, demoted, reassigned, and fired. And I noticed some people weren't happy about Yuri being transferred. They were like, he should be fired, obviously, but we should celebrate. We should celebrate because we've been pushing and pushing and pushing, exposing what these folks have done. And I just want to just bring up, we're going to go through a lot of video today. I got Turtleboy. I want to review, talking about Gene from Dorchester with Vetero from yesterday. We're going to review that tonight. We're also going to play a little video, just stuff that's been going on. And obviously, we're going to do the Canton Select Board meeting if it happens tonight. There's some news on that too. The Canton Select Board might not have a quorum tonight, so they might not even have a public meeting. That's what Canton Community Television posted on their Twitter today. So we'll see if they even have a meeting tonight. If they don't have a quorum, it's because select board members, enough of them aren't in attendance for the board meeting to happen. So we'll see if that happens tonight. If it does, we'll be broadcasting at 7 right here on this stream right here. We'll be streaming Canton Community Television, the public comment at least. So we got a lot to get to, but one thing I wanted to just bring up right here. Let's do this first. Hold on. I should have had this set up earlier. I have it set up, but I don't have it set up completely. There's several steps. Sometimes you forget that you should have enlarged it before. I like to do that. I like to set it up, but we can do it. We can do it. We got it. There we go. All right. So yeah, I love numbers. I love stocks. It's funny too, because considering that they called me the money man, I was actually like the verbal book guy more than on the SATs. That was like my verbal SAT was like out of the park. My SAT for math was like above average. It wasn't average, but it was a little bit above average. It wasn't like the verbal. But that's reading and writing. That's not speaking, which I have trouble with. But let's get to this video. Microdots had a question. Last time Juna Perkins, about 10 days, came on her show, 10 days ago, Microdots started asking some great questions. And one of the questions was about whether state police should be embedded within the DA's office. And it got to the point where we were asking, like, are you going to reassign Yuri Buchanan? Are you going to remove these state police who are on these problematic texts? Are you going to do something about it beyond the short vacation days he lost? Will you do something about it? And this is her response. And I think it's very telling that this is what I've seen in a lot of campaigns. In the past, I used to have Tito Jackson on the show when he was running for mayor of Boston. Tito and I did several shows about the cannabis issue and how Mayor Walsh was blocking dispensaries from opening in Boston. And this was while Tito Jackson was a city councilor in Boston, and he was running for mayor of Boston. And within a couple of shows, especially the last show that we did, Tito and I, it kind of went viral. People noticed it. And we know that Marty Walsh noticed it. And the next time Tito Jackson came on the show, he said, Mike, did you notice that Marty Walsh noticed the interviews that we were doing on cannabis? And I said, I maybe thought that because he did put out a statement. He all of a sudden is now he's changed his mind. He's heard from constituents and he's going to actually support cannabis dispensaries opening. Is that right, Tito? And he's like, yeah. And the reason why is because we talked about it in your show and so many people saw it. And that's when I woke up to the fact that we can have candidates on shows against incumbents, talk about issues, and then oftentimes the incumbent will take away that issue. They'll fix it because they don't want it to be a campaign issue anymore. And I don't know that this happened in this instance. I don't. It could have been Noble. It could have been the Mass State Police. That's what it more likely looks, because there was several state police officers shuffled here. But it also could have been Morrissey. Morrissey might have said, you know what? I don't want Juna Perkins using this Yuri Buchanan issue against me anymore. She's going to continue to go on these shows. So it's interesting. I'm bringing it up, and we're going to play the clip right now. I want to know what you think. Do you think that Michael Morrissey is worried about what Juna Perkins is saying on some of these shows? I think he's watching if the Mass State Police should be embedded within DA offices, does it create a conflict?
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, in Suffolk, we did not have because Suffolk includes Revere and Everett and Winthrop. We did have some state police, but mostly we were working with Boston police, and they were not embedded. And also in the AG's office, when I was in the narcotics unit, we did have embedded units, which was the state police. I think that's it. I mean, it's an interesting question. I think probably the convenience of having them so close at hand for the prosecutor is outweighs the risk of conflict. But I definitely think that you have to be very careful about conflicts, and you have to be very ready to give up a case, to assign a case somewhere else if there really is a conflict. I do think your objectivity can start to blur. But I used to get really frustrated working with police who weren't embedded, because getting them to return my phone call or respond to me or get the work done that I needed them to do was like pulling teeth. And so that's what I mean by convenience sake. But yeah, no, it's a real concern.
Yeah, like who does the work if they're not doing it? Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
gotta
Because then it would go to local
maybe. I mean,
departments.
maybe it should just be an overhaul where DAs get the budget to hire their own investigators, so they don't have to use. Is that I heard
Well,
other states do that sometimes.
Well, DA's offices often have some civilian investigators to do the kind of work that the police just don't have the time or the resources to do, and that's always really helpful, because of course we have the DA has more control over those people. I think if you didn't have the state police, you'd have to look at a lot more rigorous training of local departments, and they may not have budgets to do that. I think one thing I would say is I would definitely want a meeting with the colonel to discuss standards and build a relationship with him. And
Let me ask you this right now, because I'm seeing some people who are starting to agree with me on this, and some people who are like, no, Morrissey didn't make any moves. But her first suggestion is to have a meeting with the colonel. Do you think Morrissey had a call with the colonel and said, "Hey, you need to get rid of these guys. They're making me look bad. They're doing shows about it. I need to get these guys out of my office." You think maybe Morrissey listened to Juna? And this is leadership right now. Junior's leading Morrissey. That's my opinion right now. I think she's leading him. She just asked for his resignation, and now she's saying the first thing I would do is have a meeting with the colonel. And I would look to reassign all those people in the text messages, and I would ask him to improve his standards. Do you think Morrissey maybe made a phone call? I wouldn't doubt it.
make sure that the people we get are the people I want.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because there's a group of them who were on the Proctor text, the
Mm-hmm.
Proctor text chain.
Mm-hmm.
Proctor obviously is gone, but
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Buchanan, his supervisor that got the text,
Mm-hmm.
is still there. Would you look at if you were the DA, would you look at maybe reassigning some of those people out of your office, or sending them back to the state police? Would you meet with them individually and review everything? Well, how would you handle that?
I would ask for a complete reassignment of everyone who is assigned to the DA's office police unit, because even if there are
That is actually what Betterow said. She's basically quoting Betterow, except she's not using the word fumigate, which I mentioned here. She would say reassign everybody, not just Buchanan, everybody. Did you hear that? She would reassign the whole group of them. And I got to say, some of the people too, the commentary online, some of it, if you're going to go after Junior and you free Karen Reed, get your shit together. Because I'm not saying there aren't some valid criticisms to be had of her campaign, but do it the right way. When you say stupid shit, I have to correct you, and it pisses me off. And I don't want to be I'm not the cheerleader for Junior Perkins. I don't care who wins. There's 3 good candidates. We're gonna have them. I'm gonna try to get them all on the show. I want, in the end, I'm probably just gonna back whoever seems the strongest that could beat Morrissey. That's all I care about. But some of the comments were like, she should be saying she's gonna fire them. She can't fire them. Only the governor can fire them, or the colonel. The DA can't fire state police. So the only thing a DA can do is reassign them. That's it. All they can do is say, you're not fit for my office. And some of the comments too, like just even, it's like, guys, we got to celebrate a little bit. Like this one. And I'm not trying to bash on you because you make a valid point. I have questions. Says Buchanan being assigned to the Division of Standards and Training doesn't seem like a good fit either. Obviously. But that's where Michael Proctor went too. And this is more of an administrative job. This is just, he's sitting in an office. This is a desk job. This is where he can't get in trouble for as long as so we don't know where this is going to go. And this is to me, this is a move to say, hey, we're not going to have this guy involved in anything that matters. We're going to push him off to the side till we figure out what we're going to do about all this. And that's kind of what they did to Michael Proctor until they actually did fire him. And so I think we should celebrate. We shouldn't be so upset. Like, he's not fired. Right. I think he should be fired. I think we all should be asking for it. But I think for today, we should celebrate that these folks are being demoted. They're being rehomed. They're resigning. They're retiring. They're running for cover. Like, there's another comment here. I'm glad you're making the comments because I've seen them a lot online. I just want to address them. I think we need to celebrate a little more. Here's one. Trailgazer says, how did the shuffling of priests work out for the Catholic Church? So this is not the Catholic Church. Like nobody really knew where these priests went. A lot of times it didn't hit the press when these priests were doing stuff, if you know what I mean. That's how they shuffled them away. And that's how law enforcement used to do things. But we're in a new age. We have a post commission and we have all these YouTube shows. And we're all looking for this stuff. And these guys have been in the spotlight for 2+ years. There's nowhere to shuffle them off to. The spotlight's not going to grow dimmer on them. More and more is going to come out. We should celebrate that. Every day, every week's going to get worse for them. Never going to get better for them. Every step that we see where they're retiring, resigning, demoted, reassigned, that's all good. It's all good for us. So this is not shuffling of priests with the Catholic Church. This is the system, the establishment reacting, and these actual, state employees reacting to the pressure. This is us winning. This isn't the Catholic Church shuffling people away. And there is a union. So if there is shit that they can fire these guys for, which I think there is, it takes a long time. And it's done behind closed doors. And it's done through this union arbitration process. And we have no idea if any of these folks are even under investigation again. But all of this is good. All of this is good. And that's what I'm happy about. And I'm happy that Juna asked for Michael Morrissey's resignation. I'm happy that Juna made this statement on our show. I'm happy that Juna exposed Michael Morrissey's statements about Sandra Birchmore recently. That went viral. I'm also happy that Juna has put out a statement even today about Yuri Buchanan. I'm happy about it all. And I think that we should be championing every single one of these DA candidates anytime they make a statement, anytime and don't say it's not enough. These folks aren't politicians. The 3 people running, I've looked at them all. None of them are politicians. People are accusing them of being corrupt. None of them have any documented corruption against them. You can't call someone corrupt when you have no evidence of it. The 3 people running, all 3 of them, seem like quality people. And they are first-time candidates. First-time candidates are not generally politicians. Politicians have what Michael Morrissey has, 30, 40 elections under their belt. That's a politician. So I want us to be precise with our language and be smarter about how we're handling the politics of this. And I'm sorry I'm preaching, but it's my truth. I'm telling the truth today on this shit. I don't care who wins. And if there's a Republican running, we'll feature them too. Anyone but Morrissey. That's the party I'm with.
Perfectly good, perfectly hardworking and ethical troopers there. I think that the community's just lost complete confidence in that whole batch, and I think we just got to start fresh. There's just, but beyond that, all the people who received those messages, especially the supervisors, should definitely face discipline. No, because it's just outrageous. Like they should have been going to him and saying,
too, because a lot of people were even criticizing her on that stuff, and it's like, did you even listen to what she said? She said they should be disciplined. Not that she can really do it, because she would be the DA. I mean, the DA doesn't discipline state police unless it's with charges, obviously. So who knows? The big thing on Juna, I know she's going to investigate all this shit. And if there is anything to be charged on, they will be charges. I believe that. And I believe that about any of the three candidates I see right now. Any of them. Craig McClellan, the other guy, I don't want to screw up his name. He's a public defender. He looks phenomenal too. He's actually been saying some stronger things. I'm definitely going to reach out to those other two guys, have them on the show. But I think we all need to be a little more supportive of these folks. We want them to win. We want one of them to win, whoever it is. But I'm happy to see that she says something and then Morrissey takes action. That should mean something. That should mean something. That should show an indication here that Morrissey is under the gun. And this is a great comment right here. Kristen Pino says, "We will know more about Morrissey after Betterow brings the deets in August 13th. If he can present them. I mean, we don't know what's going to be shown at that next hearing. But I'll tell you what, I believe that Betterow and Bradle and Turtleboy have a lot more information than anybody knows about. And I know that. I know that for a fact. I know that I have information that most people don't know about related to Turtleboy's case. So, question is, will we get to see it in court? I'm looking forward to the day when some of the Turtleboy witnesses can come on this show. One of them that I do talk to. I just wanted to also mention last night I had a great time. Yesterday afternoon, I was on Nick's show. People might have seen that with some different YouTubers as well. That was a lot of fun. We raised a lot of money for Turtleboy. I want to thank everyone who donated last night to that YouTube chat, that fundraiser we did last night for Turtleboy. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, but I am looking forward to when more comes out, and that's what I'm talking about. We're already winning, and can you imagine what happens when everything's out? And eventually we'll be out. I don't care if it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years. We'll be still covering this. And you can tell it's not just us locals either. The law tubers, they're still all on this. There were a lot of people streaming Turtleboy's hearing yesterday. Keep saying last night. There we go. Deandra says Morrissey can't win and he knows it. Well, I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that. If there's a 5 candidate race, you only need like 21% probably to win. So, even though he's in the single digits right now, he probably thinks a year from now he might be able to get back up into the 20 or 30% approval rate. So, I think he's still in his mind believes that there's a chance, and I believe that this guy has been so arrogant with everything. He thought Hank Brennan was going to win. He thought Adam Lally was going to win. So, I'm not sure he doesn't know he can't win. And I'm not sure that he actually can't win. I did my odds. I maybe revised my odds right now, but if the race right now, there were no other candidates to join the race, I said, I believe the front runner is Juna Perkins right now, which is unusual. And I would say that Craig McClellan was second most likely to win, he'd still have a percentage, and then I'd say Morrissey. But there's also this other guy too, who's seems like he's coming on strong too, so he could be in the mix too. But there is a percentage chance that Morrissey could actually win. It's crazy, but especially if it's a multi-candidate race. Yeah, and this was a comment. No, do not believe it was Morrissey. I just don't. That got rid of Bukaki. Uh, yeah, maybe not. You might be right. I just think it's curious. 10 days after she says that, he's gone. Like, isn't that a coincidence? Don't you think that's a little too? I offered pushback on something last night on that show with some of the other YouTubers, and Bob came back and said timing. What about the timing though? And I was like, you're right. The timing is suspicious. Like, and I'd say the same thing on this. The timing is suspicious. 10 days later, that's usually how it works. I mean, that's I think pretty much with what Mayor Walsh did when Tito and I had our biggest show bashing him. We did 2 or 3 shows in a row about the cannabis issue. On that third show, it really kind of blew up. And like 10 days later, he changed his policy. He took the issue away from Tito Jackson. He didn't want us to talk about it anymore on our show. Too many phone calls. Too many people who wanted something that Marty wasn't giving them. So I'm not so sure. I've seen a lot of campaigns. I've seen a lot of that happen in the past where the incumbent, especially a weak incumbent, takes the issue away. They actually do what the challenger is asking for so that they can't campaign on it anymore. Let's take a couple super chats here. I have questions. Gave $5. Thank you so much. Says my comment was a play on words. I'm actually glad he can't arrest anyone or be in charge of evidence. It's a very good thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your play on words. I'm sorry. Sometimes it goes right over my head. I have to bring that one up again. I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean that's the big thing, right? He's the what can he screw up over there? They got him in a rubber room. They're probably like organize all the paper clips. We have a lot of we do a lot of paperwork over here. We need to make sure that you're stapling and collating everything correctly for us. It's probably what he's doing over there. There's not much he could screw up. It's funny. One of our oh, I should say his name. I have to look it up again. I don't want to forget it. Yeah, there's a DEA guy I watch on Twitter, and he noted that he had heard something from some of his friends, and they said that it was the state police had a choice on where they would be sent, and that Yuri actually selected that. I'm not sure I believe that. I'm not sure he wanted to go there. Thank you, Sherry D. She said I like Mike's passion. I know I get a little fired up. I mean, you know how much we put into this, all of us. And here's one. May the force Bawa be with you. Says Guarino has nowhere to hide. He is a devious, lying, data hiding piece of. That's the rumor going around. That's the rumor. I got a phone call today. Someone asking me who's someone in the media. Let's put it that way. And they were like, "Have you heard this rumor? Do you know anything about it? Can you confirm it?" And I said, "I wish I could." That Guarino was retiring. We'll see. We'll see if anyone confirms that one. But it's funny because I said to the person, I was like, every time we get one of these rumors lately, it turns out to be true. They're like, I know, that's why we're calling you. Because, normally we just feel like it's a rumor, but almost every time it's turned out to be true, right? I mean, on the firings and dismissals. So they're all falling. Someone had a nice meme where they just posted every single one of the different you know what I want to watch right now? This is classic. This is Morrissey every time he goes out of his house. Every time he decides to do a campaign event. This is where he always felt safe, marching in his little town parades. Every time he steps out of his place to do a parade, This is what Michael Morrissey is great.
Hey, Michael! Morrissey, time to retire. Correction's not needed in this county. Wrap it up. You're all done.
You're all done.
Turtleboy was great.
Turtleboy was
Turtleboy
right.
was great. Happy 4th.
I love that one. Turtleboy was right. Happy 4th. You're all done. That was the best one. I love that guy. He's hilarious. People were ragging on him because the camera was, very not in focus and not, high resolution and all that. I don't give a shit. It was the best audio ever. That was I could listen to that all day. Turtleboy was right. Like that one, like even beyond saying Morrissey resigned, I think that's the one that really it's like dagger to the heart. Morrissey heard that. Turtleboy was right. That's the one that chaps his ass the most. Turtleboy was right. Let's watch another one. This is the same parade. This is the most recent. Every time he steps out at one of these parades, we get videos. This is another angle from a different parade goer who a couple of them who had some things to say about Michael. Look at him pretending he's not getting booed right there.
Which one is he? He's a fat one. Some of them are fat.
Usually I don't like the fat stuff, but jeez. That was funny actually. But I think next time leave the fat stuff out. Just go after him about Turtleboy was right. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Turtleboy was right. Resign Morrissey, boo Morrissey. Turtleboy was right. But that's what he gets every time he goes out. We are winning. We got Karen Reed is not guilty on the major charges, and we're moving on. There's so much happening. We got Turtleboy in court, and I'm telling you, the stuff that's going to come out here. And the question is, this is the big question. It's just like, does Michael Morrissey run for re-election? Right? Is he that crazy? The other question: are they that crazy to continue to do this against Turtleboy, knowing that he's got Bradel and Betterow, who know all the secrets already, and they're asking all the right questions to get all the documentation on more secrets. And I'm so about this. I'm so happy about it. I'm so excited, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to us. We're being there. Like yesterday was amazing. It was so hot and muggy, nasty weather to be out there. 100+ people out there for Aiden yesterday. You could see it was crazy. It's like Karen Reed crowd. People couldn't get in the courtroom. People waited in line and didn't get into the courtroom. And Betterow and Bradel, phenomenal. And you'll see them back on this show definitely. We're looking forward to having those next. I think the next show, maybe with Betterow, it's going to be Bradel and Betterow, hopefully. If not, we're going to do that soon. But I want to play some of that video. I want to play some of the video from yesterday, the audio, and just kind of go over it. And I want to comment on a little bit about it because I know a lot about some of this stuff, obviously. If you've been watching the show, you might know why. Yeah. So why don't we do that right now? And then again at 7, I'm going to try to bring up the Canton Community Television. We'll get the select board going too. Oh, we got 2,000 of you watching right now. I want to thank everybody. See, I'm a numbers guy. 2,000+ people on YouTube and a good amount on our Facebook page too. Pretty good for us. And even somebody on Twitch. There's even somebody on Twitch watching us today, and a lot of people on Twitter X always. And I see some people get upset too that we have commercials on our YouTube. We turn them on during the live. It's just another way to support us. I wish we could turn down the frequency. We try, but YouTube does, I think, overdo it. I do agree on that. I appreciate the ones who watch it anyways. There's also YouTube Premium that a lot of us are, we pay for so that we don't have to watch the commercials. I do that. It's much easier that way. They also do support the show that way. So either way supports the show if you watch it on YouTube. But we also offer it on Twitter and Facebook and Twitch and even LinkedIn for free, no ads. So you can watch it there too. There's always that option. I know the chat is a big draw for people on YouTube, but just wanted to let you know, just in case. It's a little chill show. We can talk about a lot today too. So if you have anything you want to talk about in the chat, if you're mad at me or you want me to talk about something specifically or cover anything, let me know. And predictions. I like predictions too. Here's a prediction. I saw a prediction. Elwood says, prediction. One of the bars will settle with the O'Keefes, and part of the settlement will be the need to drop the case. They can't pursue anything more. Huh. That could happen. That's a possibility. Does one of the bars want to settle, though? And the question is, too, for the bar, like, do they really have responsibility? Because if Karen didn't hit him, they really have no responsibility, right? I think the ones that they should actually go after, if I were the O'Keefes, were the people who own the home. They seem like the easiest slam dunk case of all, and I'm not sure why they're not going after the homeowner. Because the homeowner was drinking at a bar, last call, invited people back who had been drinking at the bar back to their house. If that hadn't happened, John would be alive. No matter who you think killed John, that doesn't change. If they hadn't had a party after, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the obvious one to go after is the homeowner. And I'm surprised the O'Keefes haven't filed suit against them. They're the easiest ones to win a case against. I think they have a much harder time against Karen and against the bar owners because the jury concluded that Karen didn't hit him. Now, they did conclude she did do an OUI. So I guess, I'm not a lawyer, I guess that probably gives them a little bit of an angle. But again, you have to prove Karen actually hit him, right? It seems much easier to prove that someone who was a homeowner invited people to their house after hours, after the bar closed down. Not always a good call. That would be much easier to prove, right? So that's what I've always questioned is why aren't Karen's, why aren't John's parents, why aren't John's family suing the homeowner? That's the easiest case to win. I'm surprised the lawyers aren't saying, hey, this is the guy that we'll win this case easy against them, no matter who did it. Because if you're in a civil suit and you're having to argue who actually did this, both sides are going to point at the other side. All right. Before I get to the video, a couple more super chats came in. Erica Madden, love you. Star Drive-In. Make sure you check them out. Taunton, Massachusetts, Star Drive-In. Phenomenal food. I've seen the reviews. I owe her a visit. Taunton, Mass. I need to get down there. Erica Madden says 1999. She's done so much for Karen Reed, too. She raised a lot of money for Karen Reed with her restaurant, put her reputation on the line, took a lot of shit from the trolls, and she really steps up. And I also like that Erica includes the community in her fundraising and her events with the crafts. She's awesome. Erica says, does the room think Noble is noble here? That's a good question, actually. What do you think? Let's ask the chat. What do you think? I'm sorry, I was muted. The way I frame it and phrase things, I want to know about the chat. I put this Erica Madden thing up. Does the room think Noble is noble here? What do you think? the way I frame it and the way I look at it right now is the fact that I look at actions. I look at actions. Actions mean everything. Words mean a lot too. Statements, putting out the videos. To me, it looks like he means it. This is a guy from the outside. It looks like he's trying. The bigger question is, does he have the stones to take it far enough? And also, is he going to be successful at it? Like, because a lot of times the guys with the stones to take it far enough, when you put him in charge as an outsider, everyone rebels. The establishment, the corruption, they stab him in the back. They find a way to get him kicked out. I contend that's what happened with the Cannabis Control Commission. There was a former Democrat, ran for governor. She was the treasurer of the state of Massachusetts, Shannon O'Brien. She got brought in to fix the Cannabis Control Commission. I felt like she was legitimate. She was the only one I felt like that was speaking for the workers, trying to work for the workers, covering the issue that I cared about, transparent. And because she was rocking the boat too much, she got kicked out. They found some dirt on her, and they shoved her out the door. And that's what I worry about for someone who's a real reformer, is that oftentimes they don't survive. So I think the bigger question is if he is noble, will he be effective? Will he be able to actually change the organization? But I want to know what people think here. Do you think he actually has good intentions? I think he does. Whether or not he'll go far enough, whether or not he'll be successful, I'm not so sure about that. And here's one. I think he's in cover your ass mode, not genuine. And here's one. Pierre says, Noble's the first one to do anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to give him credit for putting out a statement. He put out that video statement. I thought it was a little bit hollow in the fact that it's like, okay, you're saying all this, but you got all these bad apples. But then a few days later, we find out some of these bad apples are being moved on, and who knows what's going to happen. That to me shows maybe he is doing something. So again, I think we have to wait and see. I'm all about receipts, and sometimes it's waiting and seeing, giving people some time. Sometimes we don't really know until a year goes by, 6 months go by. That's when you kind of can figure out things, right? So I think a lot of this, same thing with the campaigns that we're talking about. Commend them when they do something well, celebrate it. You can be skeptical, but you don't have to be so skeptical in public, and you can ask them totally want to ask for more accountability, want to ask for more always, but we need to celebrate a little bit. And we also need to really look at what they're doing. Are they actually doing something? Is it enough? Is it a good indication that they're maybe a little serious about this? So far, I'm optimistic. I'm not saying that Noble's perfect. I'm not saying I'm a Noble fan. I think what Noble should do, if I was Noble, I'd go on Young Jerks. Like, I'm not going to ask Colonel Noble to come on the show, but if he was really smart, he'd be hitting us up. He'd be saying, "Hey, Turtleboy, let me on your show." Imagine that. That would be something. Obviously, he's not going to do that when Turtleboy's facing charges that are coming from the state police. But geez, why not come on some shows? Why not reach out to us? Wouldn't that be something? Let us ask you some questions. Let us ask you why you're doing this to Turtleboy. Imagine that. That would be. But again, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I am happy that there's been some stuff happening here, and hopefully it continues. I want to share this too. I'm wondering about the video audios. I think it's my headphones, but every time I play videos on here, it sounds like shit. But I'm wondering if that's just my headphones and you guys hear it fine. So I'm going to play this video and you let me know. This is another video I wanted to share if people hadn't seen it. This was a follow-up to our last show about Joe Warren and that crew of people, about the stalking and harassing they've been doing to jurors, but also witnesses. And I want to make it crystal clear too, because people think it's just Paula. It's not just Paula. And I know people are giving advice to Paula to go follow up and file complaints. I hope she does. But I'm going to say it's not just Paula. And some people are taking action. And this is one person we know that did take action. I've read the criminal complaint, and it's not a juror, it's a witness. And it's a witness in the Turtleboy, one of the Turtleboy Aiden Carney cases. And that's why Joe Warren has recently been charged. And the woman went to her local police department outside of Norfolk County. And that's the key, I think. If any witnesses or jurors are being harassed, it's better to go to the local police department. And especially if you're outside of Norfolk County. So I'm going to play this little video. I want to make sure everyone sees it. There's much more than this, but this is just an example of the harassment, stalking, threats that these witnesses and jurors have been receiving. And Michael Morrissey has done nothing. Michael Morrissey, Hank Brennan, that crew, they only go after people if they're free Karen Reed. They'll only charge you with witness intimidation if you're free Karen Reed. If you're anti Karen Reed, if you support Hank Brennan, if you support Michael Morrissey, they don't charge you. And this is why I'm putting this up. I'm showing the obvious conflict of interest in this law and how it's being applied. The double standards. This is disgusting. This one. That's okay though. That outside of Norfolk County. There you go. And again, what we're pointing out too on these trolls, just like Alan Jackson said, just like Alan Jackson. We're not afraid of them. They're afraid of us. And they should be. And a perfect example of this is what KLM just posted here. These friggin' trolls had thought they were going to run all over everybody for so long, right? And then Joe Warren effed around and he found out, didn't he? Didn't he? He went up, he started begging for people to support his fundraiser because he's looking at felony witness intimidation charges now in Bristol County. That isn't Norfolk County. And now he's looking for donations and he only got $25. Well, we raised how many thousands of dollars last night for Aiden Carney, Turtleboy. Joe Warren got $25 and then he made his Twitter account private. Then we did a show, I think it was 2 days ago, on these trolls and Joe Warren. We had a poll listing 4 more of their leaders and said, which of these trolls is going to lock down their account next? And by the time we got done with our show, Julie Carpenter had locked down her account and she was one of the 4 on that list. And now we got one of the worst, most vile accounts. Closed it down. TV2 closed it down. They are on the friggin' run. They're all worried. They're all talking to lawyers. Just like I warned them about. I've been saying for a couple of years now, if you don't support Turtleboy, you're an idiot, especially if you're one of those trolls, because eventually it's going to be used against you. And a lot of these trolls have thought that they were so protected, they went way beyond anything Turtleboy ever did. And Turtleboy was an actual journalist, and they're not. They're just trolls. They're just nasty, sick, demented people who have done some of the most sick things. You saw what I posted there. There's a reason they're all hiding. Turtleboy never locked down his account. I never locked down my shit either. I ended up taking down one video at one time. It was my show where I was playing possum with the trolls way back, kind of my crisis period when KP was trying to threaten me with witness intimidation and threaten me with all this stuff that I didn't do. They wanted me to talk to Tully. Remember that? That's the only show I've ever taken down. And it's still up most places. It just took it down the one place because Kevin and them, for the longest time, were saying I took it down. It was up. They're idiots. They didn't even know how to find it. And then I saw them like editing it and doing weird shit to it. I'm like, fuck that. I'll just take it down then. It's the only show I've ever taken down. And I did it for me just because I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. You know? That's it. I've never locked down my shit. I've never had anything to be embarrassed about. Even I've talked about the lawsuit thing that's happening against me. The trolls try to throw that at me. Don't you have a lawsuit to worry? I'm not worried about it. I have a great attorney and I got the facts on my side. I am not worried about that lawsuit at all. Not at all. The only thing I was worried about is hiring an attorney to pay to get rid of it. And even that, I wasn't worried about. I just didn't want, who wants to spend all that money, right? Even if you have the money, which I do have the money. But then you all just back me up. You guys all pay. So far, I am even. I'm like, I think I'm 50. I think I've donated $50 to my own defense, basically. You guys gave me over 10 grand. The GoFundMe takes, I don't know, like $100 or something away. So like, I'm even. I'm even basically, minus the GoFundMe fee. So you guys hooked me up. So I'm not worried about anything. I've never had to lock my shit down. I've been here doing this stuff for decades. So what are the trolls afraid of? Why don't they want to use their names? Why are they sending threats to people? Why are they all looking for criminal defense attorneys this week? Are they worried about the FBI? That's what I'd be worried about if I were them. And if I were them, I'd be making phone calls to the FBI. I'd be making those phone calls. Kate, whoever calls the FBI first is going to get the best deal. Kate. All right. I'm gonna check something real quick. I just want. I'm hoping to have a big show tomorrow night. I'm waiting for a guest to get back, so I'm gonna do something real quick. No, I haven't heard back. All right, all right. I don't like to pre-announce it if it's not happening, and I don't want to. We'll see. Tomorrow night I might have a big show, so make sure you're here tomorrow. Make sure you're checking back. Wednesday night, hopefully. Could be late too. Let me ask, who do you want to see back on the show tomorrow night? If I have a big guest, who do you think it could be, and who do you want to see? So everyone's saying Betterow. Betterow will be back. I don't think it's going to be Betterow. Someone said Paula. Well, tell Paula. I got to say, I'm kind of frustrated with Paula. She told me like 3 days ago, I'm not doing any more shows because of the trolls, and now she's announcing other shows. So I don't know. I'm not asking Paula again. I asked her. Betterow, he's coming back. It's not Dejuna. None of you guys have named it so far. You're close, but you're not there. I'm not gonna say anything else. Actually, one of you did name it. One of you did say the name. We'll see. I don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens. You guys should all tell them all to come on my show. All these guests. That's what I need you to do now. Now, if you've named somebody, now Nan and Betterow, you don't have to bother. We'll just say that. Nan and Betterow, do not bother them because they always come on my show. And Mazza, like Nan, Betterow, Nazza, don't bother them. But everyone else you're suggesting, go hit them up. Go hit them up and say, hey, why aren't you on Mike Crawford's show? Why the Young Jerks? What the hell are you doing? Because a lot of you are naming some good people, and I'm just like, yeah. Hit them up. Say, where are you? Why aren't you on the Young Jerks? You don't have to say that to Betterow. You don't have to say that to Dan. You don't have to say that to Mazza. They're always here. And they will be back. But some of those others, but there's one on the list that you guys are naming that might be on the show tomorrow night. We'll see. And that person is not like that either. But I don't want to say it because it's giving it away. Say it too much. I gotta keep my mouth shut, man. Sharing too much tonight, Mike. It's because I love you. I love you all. Someone said Richie won't do it. I know. I would have Richie on in a second. Tell me about it. I love Rich. I talk his ear off when I see him. I did say he. I think I've given it away. Who could it be? Some of you have already said the name. And there's some names I've ignored if you've noticed. All right, let's watch this video. I want to hear this audio and maybe talk about it and then I'm gonna get the kids.
Number 6 and 7 are on for status. Number 17, which is 25 CR 88, is on for arraignment. Please come forward and identify yourselves for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert Cosgrove for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aiden Carney. To my left.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Carney.
And Mark Betterow for Mr. Carney.
Hi, Mr. Betterow. Good afternoon. Okay, let's arraign him on the new case.
Mr. Carney, on May 13th of 2025, the grand jury sitting in the County of Norfolk returned indictment number 2582 CR 00088, charging you as follows. Offense 1, charging intimidation of a witness, and offense 2, charging intimidation of a witness. Do you wish to waive the formal reading of these indictments?
Yes.
How do you wish to plead to each of these indictments?
Not guilty.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Is there a question of bail?
There's no question of bail, but I would ask the court to impose the same conditions that were imposed in the Stoughton District Court. And Mr. Bradle, correct me if my memory is wrong. I believe it was no contact with the alleged victim and stay 100 yards.
So I saw something in the chat. Did you guys say that he put up, Turtleboy put up a video? Is it the full video of court yesterday? What did he put up? Posted video. What video did he post today? I want to know. Is it video of this hearing? Because if I have that, I'll play that instead tonight. Oh, he does. He did post it. All right, let's use his video then. That's even better. Let's do it. That's even better. Hold on one moment then. Let's watch the real deal. Want the stream. Yeah, let's watch it. I want to see Better Row. This is awesome. Thank you for letting me know that. Oh, he is Meredith. I'll try to turn it up too. Hold on a minute. Why is it? Oh.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert Cosgrove. Good afternoon.
Hello, Your Honor, Timothy Bradel on behalf of Aiden Carney, to my left.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to turn it up. It might get louder.
Hi, Mr. Barrow. Good afternoon. Okay, let's arraign him on the new case.
On May 13th of 2025, the grand jury sitting in the county of Norfolk returned indictment number 2582CR 00088 charging as follows. Offense 1, charging intimidation of a witness, and
Here,
offense 2,
too.
charging intimidation of a witness.
Don't go anywhere.
Waive the full reading of these indictments.
Yes.
How do you plead to each of these indictments?
Not here.
Thank you, sir. Is there a question of bail?
There's no question of bail, but I would ask the court to impose the same conditions that were imposed in the Stoughton District Court. And is wrong. I believe it was no contact with the alleged victim, staying 100 yards away from his place of work and residence.
What are the allegations on this one?
Intimidation of a witness, Your Honor.
Yeah, but what's the nature of it?
This was the parents outside.
Oh, outside the
shop.
Wait a minute.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I remember.
Judge, that's agreed under section 87.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll impose that.
Thank you.
Would you do that now?
Why don't you do that now? Just.
Mr. Carney, the court recognizes the person without assuring the following conditions. You have no contact record on record of the victim in this case. You are to stay away, have no contact, stay away 100 yards from the residence and place of work of the complainant. Consent to those conditions, sir.
Yes.
And you're hereby notified your target time or the period of your release. Bail in that matter may be revoked in accordance with maximum allowed. 276 section. Thank you.
All right, what else are we gonna do?
Judge, if I may jump in right there, just for the record, we filed 2 arraignment-related motions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Obviously, we can push those to another day with 2 small exceptions of just an order to preserve notes of investigators and to preserve video, if I may, Your Honor. I don't believe there's an objection.
Okay.
There is not.
Yeah, those are both. So we sought, the Commonwealth sought to preserve notes of investigators and to preserve video. What else can I do for you?
For me or for Mr.
Why don't I
Brown?
start with you, Mr. Cosgrove? Go right ahead.
So Your Honor, entered a discovery order the last time you were here. I made substantial progress on it. I can't say I fully complied with it, but I have about, let's say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 or 6,000 pages of discovery to provide Mr. Bradel today. And I had planned, Your Honor, to file that with a motion for a protective order, which I had served on Mr. Bradel just a couple of nights from when I came to Mr. Bradel. And we have been going along with these essentially tracking protective orders in the Karen Reed case, and in fact, much of the material is duplicative of the discovery turned over to the Karen Reed case, and I pretty much followed their form protective order. These have all been allowed with the agreement of the defendant and without prejudice.
Okay.
I understand that Mr. Bradel wishes to bring that practice to an end as of today. I'm in a somewhat different position.
Let me hear from Mr. Bradel. Mr. Bradel,
Thank you, Your Honor.
give me your argument.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. Judge, the Karen Reed case is over with. It's moved. It's gone. Okay? And my filing, Judge, entitled Aiden Carney's motion to release case documents from impoundment is what we're talking about here, Your Honor. So I asked the court last time, and we had so much business on the docket last time, I don't think we circled back on it. But I was asking to just release everything from impoundment, Your Honor. The fact that things are embarrassing or scandalous or cause negative light to be cast upon public officials, Your Honor, is not a reason to impound documents. It's actually a reason to release documents. And that's really all the Commonwealth has left on the existing stuff, is that, gee, this might make investigators look bad. This might make special prosecutors, present company accepted, look bad. This might, cause election shifts, and that's not a reason to impound things, Your Honor. And initially, we have sort of taken the candy from, from the Commonwealth, and when they say, we'll give you the stuff, but just agree to this protective order. So we want the stuff, but at some point we have to get off of that train, Your Honor. This is a case of immense public interest. This is a case of, First Amendment issues, and I know we may disagree on that, but that's what our adversary system is for, and that's okay. And I think every case that eventually gets to the SJC or the Supreme Court starts with a trial judge maybe not agreeing with it, so that's okay. And, that's what we have here. But in any event, Your Honor, I think we can agree that this case brings to the fore really important issues about what is witness intimidation, what is journalism, where does the First Amendment fit in, and these text messages about and I'm trying to not speak of them in open court, but we all know what they say, and we all know that there's a public interest in shining some sunlight on these things. So we're not asking to.
What do you think they say? They've seen the text. They know what's in those texts. What do you think those texts say? Why are they trying so hard to not show those texts with the public? See how good this is? This is good for Turtleboy. Facing like all the decades in jail, and this is like good for him. Now, I'm watching Canton Select Board waiting for it to start. Apparently, they may not have a quorum tonight. Who do you think's missing from their select board? I have a feeling Chris Albert is not there again. Is that right? We're waiting to find out. I've got it up in the other window here, so I'm watching. If Canton Select Board goes live, I'm going to jump over to there, and then we'll come back to Aiden's hearing because I do want to watch all this. But let's just get back to Aiden's hearing right now. And again, we're going to air the public comment from Canton Select Board if they do go live.
Publish someone's address or someone's phone number. We're asking for the content of these communications that these folks have issued between and among each other. And the content of them per se has no persuasive power to make you want to impound.
Let me ask Mr. Cosgrove, what interest at the moment does impoundment serve?
Your Honor, I've just been handed 20 minutes ago a fairly extensive motion suggesting that I have all kinds of very.
Instead of answer the question, he doesn't answer the judge's question.
Burdens to justify impoundment and citing a lot of case law. I would like an opportunity
Yeah, no,
to file.
I'd give it. Was a week enough?
I'd like a little more than that.
About 2 weeks.
All right.
There you go. I'll give you 2 weeks. I'll take it under advisement. And if you want to file anything else, Mr. Bradel, Mr. Federer, you absolutely have every opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, Your Honor, with respect to the items that I was going to turn over today,
So I'll allow the motion. Mr. Bradel, I'm up here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I thought I had a minute.
That's fine. You gotta talk to your client, you gotta talk to Mr. Federer. My
This
point
judge.
is this.
I like this
If
judge.
you want the stuff
This
today,
judge is all right. This judge is all right. Bev would have lost her shit right there. You notice the difference between this judge and Bev Canoni? There was a moment when that happened in court, and she screamed at them. He's just laughing. He's just laughing. I understand that. I like this judge. I do. He's all business too. He gets to the business. He's not, even though he's given him another extension. I do like this judge. I do.
I'll allow it without prejudice. Sure. And then I'll see what.
And we're still waiting on Canton Community Television. There's nothing going. It's 7:03 right now. Nothing happened at the select board. That means they don't have a quorum right now. Will there be an actual Canton Select Board meeting that is scheduled tonight, July 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m.? It's now 7:03 p.m. Nothing but a black screen over there at Canton Community Television, waiting for their select board to see if they have enough members tonight at the hearing. Interesting. Interesting. Where's Chris? Where's Chloe? Where's Chris?
What Mr.
We have to take the candy.
That's fine.
Please note our objection. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I will allow Mr. Cosgrove's motion without prejudice. And I'll take any submissions that you have, and I'll give you a final answer probably in about 3 weeks.
So 3 weeks, we're going to find out. This is good. This is very good. I want to get to a couple super chats because, wow. Oh, look, hold on. It's starting.
7:02. We're going to start with public comment. I'm going to read a statement. The public comment portion of the meeting is an opportunity to listen to residents' feedback and concerns. But the
Chris
public
is
comment
there.
Portion of the meeting is not meant to be a question and answer format. There will be no response to any public comment when presented. The public comment portion of the meeting is limited to 15 minutes total and 3 minutes per speaker. I would encourage those that do wish to speak to be mindful of others in the room who wish to do the same, so that we can make the most of the time allotted and hear from as many people as possible. Anyone who does not wish to speak or who is unable to speak due to the time limit may submit their comments in writing for the board's review and consideration. Welcome, Brenda.
That on? Okay. Brenda Sweeney, Canton, my humble opinion. That sounds wicked loud, is that?
I think you made them louder last time.
Okay. To quote Albert Einstein, never strive to be a success, but rather to be of value. We can't strive to solve John's murder, but our voice can be of value, so people that can solve it are successful. The value of our voice is immeasurable. It's both a sword and a shield, a true gift indeed. Morrissey spent millions, more than a third of his entire operating budget, to pin it on Karen Reed. He didn't anticipate an army in pink using the value of our voices to support Karen. Once Morrissey's plan failed, his supporters packed their bags and got on with their lives, not looking for the real killers. Tell us they know who, and they're scrambling to protect them. Someone doesn't want us to continue protesting in Canton. Once we're on Washington Street, the dog and pony show starts. They come by yelling things like, "You're still here, it's over, forget about it, get a job, you're sick, you losers." How about get a life? The absolute absurdity of that one. John has no life, yet they want us to shut up and go home. Sometimes we get, "You won, go home," like murder's a game. That certainly speaks to their character, or lack thereof, doesn't it, Mr. Forrester? It's over when there's justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Remember him, how you shouted, "Justice for JJ," put on blue shirts, wore those pins, put out all those signs? Remember JJ? We do, that's why we're here. It's hard to believe you want the world to wash their hands of John, forget about him, and go home. Morrissey's mob has no morals or ethics. Their oath is just a formality. They want to go back to business as usual. Any one of us could be Karen Reed and they wouldn't lose any sleep over it. It's hard to fathom they tried to frame her, ridiculed the law by placing their thumb on the scales of justice. Worse yet, that judge made a total mockery of public trust. Thankfully, the jury saw the value of the experts as they became a shield for the innocent. Jackson, Yannetti, Little, Alessi, Betterow, they understand the ethical duty that binds them to our laws, much like Sergeant Barrows, who exemplifies fidelity to the oath. Their integrity personifies what the justice system is meant to be, why the Pink Army stood up to fight. We're here until John's killers are in silver bracelets. The click of cuffs on their wrists will be our swan song for John. If you helped, you should start worrying about your value shifting to disposable income, because they'll make a deal for their own benefit. Then it's you and karma. Is she your friend or your worst nightmare? We'll be back. Our sword and our shield, our voice is here to stay. We want those killers to understand the value of our voice, to hear it loud and clear every single day. Thank you.
Great speech. Good
I'm
pacing.
Ashley Bell. I live on Dedham Street.
Ooh.
Canton shouldn't have a contract with a union-busting $2 billion corporation or support scabs picking up our trash. Canton needs to pressure for public services to give our sanitation workers the benefits they need. And to the non-union rats who are about to cross the picket line, just remember, you're cashing a check for a $2 billion company that doesn't care if you live or die.
Ashley, reach out. I want to get you on the show. Ashley Bell. Just to talk off the record, Ashley.
First up on the agenda, it's a little loud, is a petition from Verizon New England, Inc. and NSTAR Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, petition for Verizon job number 4AOXP9R, Spring Lane, Canton, Mass. We have a representative here to speak about it.
Verizon to relocate joint pole 2 located on the westerly side of Spring Lane to a point approximately 12 feet northwesterly from its current location. This petition is required to accommodate a new driveway.
Sounds pretty good.
No public comment, Chris, remember?
I move that the board approve the petition from Verizon New England, Inc. and NSTAR Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, petition for the Verizon job 4AOXP9R, Spring Lane,
Confused.
Canton, Mass.
Did they end the public comment?
Relocate one JO pole P.2 located on the westerly side of Spring Lane to a point of approximately 12 feet northwesterly from its current location.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
All right. Next, I move that we consider the request to access 1.5.
Look, I'm sorry. Mr. Folin and Mr. Lynch, I think they plan on being there at 7:15 because we thought the meeting. Can we just push them down until they get here?
Gotcha.
I thought that they were doing public comment. Is that it? There was only two speakers there?
FY 2025 reserve fund transfer request.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Town Administrator.
Mr. Scollins?
Early, get to jump the queue.
Lucky you get to go home early.
Excellent, thank you. So we're here to talk about annual year-end reserve fund transfers.
I'm going back to Turtleboy. Yeah, I'm sorry. The volume is low on that Canton Community Television. I try to turn it up as much as I can through like our third-party apps, and it was maxed out. There's no way I can turn it up any higher. But I thought it was weird because we're watching public comment, and then he brings up this other woman. I remember when they said they don't respond to public comment. Now he's responding to public comment. They didn't even end public comment. That was weird. That was weird. Chris Albert was actually there, which is surprising. JR and Susan Harrington were not there today. I don't know. That was strange. Strange how there was only really two speakers there. But I thought it was a great speech from Brenda. I like how she mentioned karma because she's got the karma shirt on. And that's what they kept pushing those trolls about the karma. Now they're feeling the karma, aren't they? For the last 2 years, they've been saying that karma was coming to us. Karma, you're getting sued. You're going to jail. All these threats that they made at us. All the threats. All the threats. Yeah, I didn't see Rita. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it back up in the. It felt like they skipped over and ended public comment too early, but I guess not. I guess that was it. Yeah, I'm watching it. There's nothing else going on. They got other guys speaking. So we're gonna go back to Turtleboy. I want to watch this Turtleboy.
Does that make sense? Okay.
And then, Judge, just to shift gears a little bit, there's some outstanding discovery that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And I want to start off, I know that the court's time can be much better spent in discovery disputes. So we talked about the idea that we would go to the DA's office, and to the extent there's items that the government says they've given us that we can't open up or figure out.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're gonna agree to go in person with our people and figure it out. So
Yeah, sure.
that's the first thing I want to say. But then, in addition, Your Honor, there's this inventory that I filed. It's entitled Inventory of Outstanding Items in Connection with our Third Motion to Compel. There's about 10 things, Your Honor, and I think, unfortunately, that the government ought to go through and answer to us today about what the status of these things is. And we've been kind of going back and forth about these things for a long time. I looked back, Your Honor, and my first discovery request was February of 24. And second and third, you know, were the months following. And you know, in fairness, counsel for the Commonwealth was not the prosecutor of record at the time. But, you know, the rules are the rules, and we need this stuff, and it's gone on way too long. So these are the 10 things that I think are very important, maybe 9.
Mr. Cosgrove, might you want to take that 2 weeks and respond to all of those?
Can you give me an extra week? Or I'll give you
An extra week.
Okay.
All right. But it is, Mr. Bradle makes a very good point. As we all know, I think that it's important that the discovery be turned over so that we can bring a timely trial to the case.
I don't disagree with Your Honor. Notwithstanding that Mr. Bradle has some complaints, and some of them may well be legitimate, there has been a substantial amount of discovery turned over in this case.
Yeah. If you turn it over 5,000 pages today, it's a lot of discovery.
We appreciate it, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Thank you. And Attorney Better has a number of items.
Mr. Betterow.
Thank you, Judge. Just going back briefly to some of the issues about impoundment.
Yeah.
There are some items that are currently under impoundment, which we believe ought to be released from impoundment, specifically messages from.
Oh my God, this is so funny. This comment, Elena Frost says, Betterow equals Kevin Pollak. I think you might be right. You see how that camera zooms right in on Betterow? And do you notice the judge, the way he said Betterow? I think he might be familiar with Mr. Betterow. Mr. Betterow's reputation is out there. People know him, precedes him.
From Michael Proctor and a civilian witness. Those messages were cited in our motion to dismiss. As the court is no doubt aware, Michael Proctor is terminated from the state police. He has been a matter of public interest with his involvement in both the Karen Reed case, which led to Mr. Carney's interest, and ultimately, on some level, his indictment in this case. But also, those messages were impounded ostensibly for privacy interests.
That one, Jason Bateman as Turtleboy. That would be interesting. He's a total lib, you know. Bateman's a lib. That would be funny. And he's a phenomenal actor. I like Bateman. I think he's a great actor. I think he would do very good as Turtleboy. I'm down for that.
Security interest, those sorts of things. Recently, Michael Proctor has been on a press tour on ABC News and NBC News, vigorously defending his investigative conduct. The messages that are at issue here, which are impounded, the public is entitled to see that. There is certainly a presumption of public access to those files. Michael Proctor has surrendered any privacy interest he has by addressing those issues, as has the other civilian that we're talking about, who also recently appeared on national news with other members of her family defending her and her family's conduct in this case. Those messages should be publicly available. If there's going to be information that's in the public realm, there's no reason why information that the prosecution wanted concealed from public view should be concealed any further. If the court likes, we can approach and show you the messages. I would suggest they are relatively straightforward, and there's no reason for those to be impounded this time.
Okay. Anything you want to say to that, Mr. President? Not going to give you another week.
Another week. I mean, more time.
Just it would make sense to take this up when we take up.
Oh, yeah, it does. Give me more time. Give me another reprieve. Push it back some more. Remember, it was about Mello. It was about Mello. Mello was down and sick. It's Mello's fault. He can't. Now, what's he doing? I don't think that it's funny because this judge, the thing is, too, a lot of this, what you're going to see is there's supposed to be 3 different trials of Turtleboy. Someone asked me today in the chat, is this judge going to be the only judge for Aiden? I don't know, because he's got multiple cases. At least one of the cases is not in Norfolk County, right? Isn't that in Stoughton? No, actually, maybe that is Norfolk County. I'm not sure, but the cases, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the judge. That's a question I want to ask Turtleboy and Betterow next time he's on. I don't know, because this judge is pretty good. I think he's going to grow tired of this. I do. How many more times can you push back for more time?
I think that makes sense.
I won't ask for another, day.
That's, why don't I do this? Why don't you all come up to sidebar? Let me take a look.
You are me, Mr. Frank.
I like this guy's style. Quick, too. He only did, I think, 1, maybe 2 sidebars the entire hearing. They were quick. Look at the audience. Full house. The people couldn't get in. There were people denied access because it got too crowded. Oh, there's Deanna. Dina. Oh, I'm getting names mixed up. There's Dina. There's our friend Dina. On the ground right there. That's pretty quick sidebar compared to Bev.
Thank you. Judge, one outstanding issue relates to the second of the 3 indictments that relates to Lindsay Gaetani. We moved and were granted a hearing to disqualify Mr. Mello from prosecuting that case because he is an essential witness in that matter. That issue was decided in September of 2024. A hearing was ordered in January of 2025. For reasons which the court is familiar with, that hearing has been put off. Nevertheless, we're looking to move this forward, and the issue is not resolved, and we're led to believe that Mr. Mello will not voluntarily withdraw. For whatever reason, we need to do this hearing. We believe that he's going to be a defense witness in this case. We're getting discovery between him and another civilian witness today, which I think is going to further that application and very likely make him even more a prosecution witness. And we just can't kick this can down the road for close to a year. So we would like to schedule a date for Mr. Mello to either appear, be examined under oath, explain the consequences, which the court, again, is probably familiar with. He was contacted by the complainant during the alleged crime repeatedly, 4 or 5 times over the course of that day. Instead of the police being called, he was an ear witness to these allegations. He Respectfully, he needs to come in here, answer these questions so the court can issue a decision as to whether he's going to be allowed to continue or whether we can go through the process of subpoenaing him and any other items that might be of assistance to us with calling him as a witness.
Mr. President. Can I inquire if Mr. Mello is online?
I do not see him. Attorney Mello? Last time you used his name, there is no one else's name.
Can I approach?
Of course, come on up.
The other sidebar. Let's look at the super chats. Kelly R says,
Sarah, you said you have one more thing.
Yes, Judge, just as it relates.
we'll go back to Better in a second. Kelly R says, huge demotion for Buchanan. No more overtime. Will cut his net yearly in half. Exactly. Going from a sergeant detective down to where he's at, not good. Not good for his career path. Not what he wanted. Totally true. Absolutely, Kelly. He loses all that detective overtime. And they do get that. They do get that detective overtime. Laura says, will the TB trial do them all in? The text messages? I think so. I do. And you're going to hear Jean from Dorchester. She gets brought up at this hearing. That's one of the reasons I want to speak tonight, because I've got some things to say about Jean from Dorchester. I know all about what's going on with Jean from Dorchester, as some of you know. And I think between her and these text messages and some of the witnesses, there's a reason why they've been threatening these witnesses. Think about it. Who's, besides a juror, who's been getting threatened? The witnesses for Turtleboy. And I think you're absolutely right, Laura. There's stuff in there that the government doesn't want us ever to see. And that's what this hearing's about. Christine says, Mike, I think Noble has seen and heard enough. I hope so. I hope he's cleaning house. I hope he's planning on it. I hope he's doing more than shuffling the decks on the Titanic or shuffling the Catholic priests around. I guess Howie Carr said that today as well. I just hope I hope what people say, I hope it's more than just moving people around. But I'm optimistic. It makes me feel like we're headed in the right direction there. DB Trouble 247 says because the McAlberts helped them with the kids. So is that the reason you think they won't sue them? Yeah, that would make sense. That personal relationship thing, right? Mike B from the 413 sent $2 and say bars may get hit for how much everyone got served. I mean, that's possible. But you're talking about a death, right? What actually caused the death? So I don't know. I'm not an attorney defending liquor establishments. But it would seem to me you'd have a much better case, I feel like, slam dunk on the host of the party that the body was found in front of, right? The house. They were out drinking. They invited their friends who were out drinking back to the house after last call. D Trouble 247 says 499 says we need everything unimpounded. We can dissect every word for Aiden. Exactly. We do it, and we need that. We do need that. And again, thank you, Erica Madden, as well tonight, and mad respect to you. And congratulations to Erica for standing up for the right cause, for the right reasons, taking a lot of shit and seeing it through and knowing you did the right thing. You should be very proud of what you did, Erica Madden.
To discovery, we have made a series of discovery demands from the prosecution ranging from October of 2024. As of this date, not including whatever was filed today, we have made 4 very thorough, detailed discovery demands sourced regarding contacts between a civilian named Catherine Peter and the state police and the district attorney's office regarding her very unique relationship in all matters involving Mr. Carney, Those demands, which again are in the files, Mr. Cosgrove has them outlined in detail, her frequent contacts with the state police, with people that are prosecutors, statements that she has made under oath in court proceedings stating that she helps authorities get Mr. Carney, voice recordings that she has left Mr. Carney indicating that she provides information to them. So we have asked for any discovery related to Ms. Peter going on about a year. Now, today, for the first time, we are admittedly getting something that relates to her communications with Mr. Mello. I'll only note that all materials that relate to Ms. Peter and the prosecution were ordered by the court in early May to have been provided within 20 days. That didn't happen. We got stuff today. That's fine. But the real issue here is that in light of the change in Rule 14 from last March, the game is very different than it might have been before in terms of what the prosecution is obligated to do and what I don't believe they've done in this case, which is go to every member of the prosecution team, which is everyone in the district attorney's office, any of the state police who are involved in these matters, which includes Michael Proctor at the time, Yuri Mechanic, Lieutenant Tully, Fanning, there's a whole list of them. The Karen Reed prosecutors who are also covered, who got a little bit involved, as the court is aware, in Mr. Carney's case and may or may not have had a relationship with her too. She has made statements allegedly indicating some involvement in that case. The rule requires the prosecution, whether they credit the information or not, to contact each individual that is on the prosecution team and make an inquiry and find out whether there is any material and disclose it. We don't think that that has happened. We respectfully submit that is something that Mr. Cosgrove has to do. In particular, I would draw the court's attention to testimony that was given by a member of the state police in February of 2024, which led to a wiretapping charge against Mr. Carney, in which Fanning of the state police stated under oath that they received a recording, a 30-second recording from Catherine Peter, that it was given to Lieutenant Tully and then given to Fanning, and we have no evidence of that. We don't have a copy of the recording. We were given the wrong recording in that regard. We have no police reports. We have no communications. We have nothing. If they don't exist, they don't exist, but they're obligated to look for it, make the inquiry, and report back and say whether any of this exists or not. And the last thing I'll note on that point, under the new rule, it doesn't matter whether the prosecutor credits any of this, thinks it's nonsense, thinks it might be real, they're obligated to do it. And we simply ask respectfully that the court instruct the prosecution to do that and disclose whatever evidence ought to be disclosed, or make a statement on the record that there is nothing to disclose. And if that's the case, then we'll all live and die with the consequences of that statement.
No, it's largely been done.
So I've been corrected again. I guess Turtleboy was the one on Howie Carr's show today that mentioned the Catholic priest thing.
Is that part of the 5,000 pages that you turned it over?
It is. Among the things turned over is the email from Catherine Peter to Brian Tully providing that 30-second clip.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. So that seems to solve that. You said that you had some things you wanted to bring up.
Yes, yes. So this will be an opportunity, Your Honor, for myself and Mr. Vedero to do an absolute 180 on our positions on disclosure of impounded documents. Your Honor will recall that the last time we were here, attached to a discovery.
What was the outcome? I like this one. This is a good question. This is a very good question right here. So what was the outcome for Turtleboy yesterday? What do you think? Push it back several more weeks. The outcome was you are entitled to this shit, basically, is what the judge is saying. But let's give Cosgroves a few more weeks to get back to us and respond on why not. It's just the same old BS. Cosgrove's pushing back goalposts, pushing it back. They just want to push it back. Eventually, they can't push it back. That's the thing, right? Laura says, Mike, no, Turtleboy said the priest thing on Howie Card today. Okay. We got that correct, too. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate when we get the facts right, even when I make a misstatement. You got to correct it. That's the proper thing to do. All right, let's get back to this. I'm looking forward to where they bring up Gene from Dorchester.
Motion, was an affidavit. And at that time, it was initially filed provisionally without hearing from the Commonwealth. Was impounded upon, I believe, not the affiant's representation, but I think Mr. Bradle's representation that the affiant was in fear that there would be some sort of retaliation by the Commonwealth. I think Your Honor will recall fairly outrageous, if I can put it that way, representations that were made by the affiant. I believe now, as I moved at the time, that affidavit should either be stricken or that the impoundment order should be lifted. I don't believe an affiant should be allowed to accuse an assistant VA of jury tampering and a district attorney of having secret meetings with witnesses and all these other things, and then hide behind an impoundment order. Okay.
So basically, he got up there and said everything that Jean from Dorchester wrote in her affidavit, in her signed affidavit, is all false. It's outrageous. D.A. Morrissey and Hank Brennan would never meet with witnesses. It would never be cooperating in working with Kate Peters. None of that happened. None of the stuff. Kate Peters isn't getting $1,500 a month. Kate Peters didn't get a couch from Jennifer McCabe. Doesn't back it up with anything. I'm wondering, how does he get there? How does he just get there and say she's false? How does he do that? I don't know. I just think that's his only choice because he can't accept it.
Yes, a couple things that I think ought to be corrected. The affiant is not alleging what happened. The affiant is alleging under oath that she was told by another individual.
Zach, this is so important. This is so important. And he talks about misrepresentation. Who's misrepresenting? It's this friggin' joker at the bottom of the screen. This bald-headed, old, he's just an old idiot. I'm sorry. I mean, Betteros tried to be nice to him and say, he didn't know about this stuff, but he just misrepresented. And Betteros calling him out here because she did not say these things for sure happened. She said that Kate told me this. I heard on the phone. Kate told me this. I heard her talking to this person. She's telling what she saw and heard from Kate. Now, is Kate lying and exaggerating? I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt if she's exaggerating on some stuff. But I wouldn't doubt if some of the stuff that Kate is selling Gene at the time is true. And if people don't know, Gene from Dorchester was like all of you in the audience watching all of our shows, specifically calling into a lot of them. Mine quite a bit. She watches my show all the time. I know she still watches it. And she didn't know who Kate Peter was. She had no clue. And then one day she realized that the neighbor that she had been conversing with, that she lives in the same building with, was Kate Peter. And so she decided to ask Kate Peter about things and did not allude and did not own up to the fact that she was watching our shows. And Kate Peter told her a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff for months. For months. And Gene, who was Gene talking to the entire time? Me. She was calling me. At first, Gene disappeared. I had no idea what was going on. And then she reached out to me with a burner account. And it was one of these messages, I need to talk to you. You know who I am. I'm not telling you. I didn't know who was contacting me. And I get a lot of these messages from people. I do. I get so many of them. And usually I never follow up with them because usually it's a bunch of bullshit. It's usually someone who's lonely, who wants to tell me their story for 2 hours, that doesn't go anywhere, that it's not something I can cover. And usually it's a personal issue. And I can't put myself out there. If I take every call that calls me, I'll never be able to do a show. I'll just be on the phone talking to people. And eventually she kept at me and said, look, you need to talk to me. You know who I am. You'll understand. Call me. And I said, okay. And we set up a call. And as soon as I took the call, I was like, Gene from Dorchester? Because I knew that voice instantly. And she's like, yeah, fucking my. Yeah. So she was telling me everything. And mostly I said, Gene, I don't even want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear any details because it's going to be hard for me not to share it with people. I don't want to be keeping secrets. You need to talk to Bradel. You need to talk to Bradel's office. You need to talk to Courtney. I know Courtney. Here's Courtney's number. Talk to Courtney. And it took a little while. At first, I know that Gene wasn't sure that she wanted to talk to Courtney. And I believe that Gene even maybe reached out to the attorneys for Karen Reed's team, and I don't think they got back to her. And I think she might have even reached out to the FBI. I'm not sure about that. I think so. And so basically, eventually, I just kept saying to Gene, you need to talk to Courtney. Trust me. Trust me. I know Courtney. She's not going to let you down. She's not going to do anything without your approval. Work with Courtney. She will help you. She's everything that you need right now. You told me you need an attorney. You told me you need help. Courtney is the person. I trust Courtney. And eventually, Gene called Courtney. And that's how the affidavit came into being. And it's going to be interesting because I think Gene from Dorchester might be a witness in this case. I think she may be a witness. I think she may be called to testify. And if you heard from Gene from Dorchester, I think she's going to stand up. I do. Betero called me at one point and said, what do you think about Gene from Dorchester? Is she legit? I said, I don't know. I don't know her. All I know is her calling my show and talking to her on the phone. You need to figure that out. And I think obviously they feel comfortable enough now that they're behind it. They're behind it. I mean, they obviously did their own vetting, and that's what I wanted. I wanted them to vet her. And it's funny because I know for a fact that she's never talked to Turtleboy, but one time she ran into him in person, said hi, said, I'm Gene from Dorchester. And he's like, holy shit. And that was it. That was their conversation. There was no other. She has not talked to Aiden. She has not been in cahoots with Aiden on any of this. So Cosgrove is full of shit about it all. And I think Gene's going to stand up. And, you know, it's interesting. I'm in one of the affidavits that was filed about Lindsay Catani. Like I said, I had my interactions with KP2. I wrote and signed actually 2 affidavits for Turtleboy. One that hasn't seen the light of day. I don't know if they ever used it. It was for Attorney Bradel with Courtney, and it was about what Kate Peter did to me. What Kate Peter did to me. And I don't know if they ever used it. I know they did definitely file and use the affidavit I did with Attorney Bradel, Attorney Betero, about what Lindsay Catani's, the lies she was saying about me. And if I'm called to testify on any of this stuff, I'm there. I will do it in a second, and I would look forward to it. And I'm not saying I'm a witness for Aiden or Turtleboy, but you never know. You never know. I could end up being a witness too, because they pulled a lot of shit on me as well. But I would count on Gene from Dorchester from being a witness. I would not count on me being a witness. I think they'd probably want to protect me too. They don't want to shut me up. Again, if you didn't hear it, just rewind it a couple minutes. Gene from Dorchester was someone who was calling into my show, watching my show. Realized she lived next to the chief snitch for Norfolk County that's been trying to harass and jail Turtleboy for not just the last couple of years, for a lot longer than that. But she's someone that cooperates and worked with all these McAlberts. Her name is Kate Peter. Jean from Dorchester, a regular caller on my show, realized she lived right next to Kate Peter, and Kate Peter was talking to her daily. Kate Peter told her all the secrets. And Kate Peter is afraid of Jean from Dorchester, won't even say her name anymore. At first, she doxed her, she threatened her, but now she won't even talk about it because she knows Jean knows a lot. And I think Jean from Dorchester keeps Kate Peter up late at night. Jean wrote an affidavit for Turtleboy and alleged with Turtleboy's attorney. And in the affidavit, she alleged that Kate Peters is getting paid $1,500 a month from Norfolk County, that Jennifer McCabe bought Kate Peter a sofa, and that Kate Peters has had lunch meetings and hangs out with Hank Brennan.
We were discussing earlier what happened. That's the first point. The second point is that document was attached as an exhibit.
And if you didn't know, Kate Peters is also someone who used to work for Turtleboy. They had a falling out. She's been stalking, harassing him ever since. She's had issues with her own children being taken away from her. She's had violence. You could see she threatened violence in the past. I've seen that in video. She's really not a good person, to say the least. And you can see, the stuff that she's been doing. She is up on a couple witness intimidation charges right now outside of Norfolk County. And this is who they're using. They're using someone that has their own witness intimidation charges to be the ringmaster online on Twitter to basically attack Turtleboy and try to shake down anyone that's a supporter of Turtleboy and get them scared enough that they might rat on Turtleboy. And Kate Peters was the one who I'm convinced, recruited Lindsay Gattani. It's pretty obvious at this point. Lindsay Gattani was Turtleboy's girlfriend. They had a falling out. Kate Peters shows up, introduces her to Brian Tully, the state police. This is what happened. Kate Peters is part of the setup with the state police and the DA's office. And she's basically a snitch. She's basically their confidential informant who has spent her whole life trying to take down Turtleboy. And she'll do, there's nothing that she won't do. There's no morals that she won't cross to get Turtleboy. So I hope that answered your question. She's a snitch. I would call her a criminal. She's got criminal charges against her. She threatened me. She threatened me with felony witness wiretapping and all this other shit. Then she denied it, of course. She denied she ever threatened me. But she did. She made threats. She told me I needed to speak to Tully. When Turtleboy Aiden was in jail, she said that I was next. She claimed I illegally wiretapped and edited illegally audio, and that I put it out online, which I did none of. The only thing I ever did was listen to a recording of a domestic situation that was shared to me by a source, and then I reported on it. I wrote out what I heard, and then I felt like that Lindsay Gattani in the audio was the one who was unhinged, hysterical, and seemed like she was the one who was the one that was more aggressive in the situation. Where the recording I heard, Aiden never raised his voice. That's what I heard. And because of that, she threatened me with all these criminal charges that I was going to get a felony if I didn't call Brian Tully with the state police and call Kate Peters. That's what Kate Peters is. Kate Peters is someone that threatens people to tell lies on Turtleboy to get out of bogus criminal charges. That's what Kate Peters is doing.
Discovery demand. Discovery demand number 4, alleging more reason to believe that there is an obligation for the prosecution to look into possible discovery that is in their possession, custody, or control. If that affidavit were to be stricken, that means literally nothing. They are still obligated to do whatever it is they had to do. And at the time that motion was discovered until 20 minutes ago, absolutely nothing has been turned over regarding this person who brags about working for the authority. So I don't know the relevance of doing anything one way or the other with respect to the affidavit. Now, that person may very well have a privacy interest, because the day after that affidavit was filed, her apartment was essentially covered in personal information about herself that could have only come from someone with access to law enforcement. And almost certainly that individual was subjected to charges of witness tampering, which I believe were actually under investigation. It may still very well be. I can't go farther than that. I don't know. Somebody.
So as soon as Gene from Dorchester files the affidavit. Now I know Gene was looking to move out of the building. She was hoping to move. And she got outed. The affidavit came out. Her name and information was supposed to be protected, but she comes back to her apartment to like move out her shit, and it's covered. And personal information and calling her a rat with her picture. And you know where it came from. You know who the neighbor is. It's Kate Peter. Nobody knew Gene's information at that point. But Gene, maybe myself and Turtleboy's attorneys and the DA's office. But Kate Peter found out instantly, apparently, allegedly. If you believe that she was the one that plastered Gene from Dorchester's door, which I do believe. I believe it's only one of two people. It's either Gene from Dorchester did it to herself, or Kate Peter did it. That's it. It's for me. That's it. It's either Gene from Dorchester put that shit on our door and wanted to set up Kate Peter, or Kate Peter did it to Gene. And if I had to bet on it, I'd bet Kate Peter did it. That is a Kate Peter move. That's exactly what Kate Peter would do. I have no reason not to trust Gene from Dorchester. There's only one person who would do that. It's the person who lives in the same building as you. The person that you wrote an affidavit about. Who else would do that? So that's what Bettero's talking about here.
Whoever did this wrote snitch on her door. So I would suggest in this situation, impoundment of her name.
Oh, actually, there's another point I want to make on this before I let Bettero go for some more. Bettero made an interesting comment here because I've been waiting to see. Is Kate Peter under investigation or going to be charged for that witness intimidation on the door of Gene from Dorchester? And it seemed like Bettero hinted at that. And I'm not sure if Bettero even knows, but I've been expecting that. And I think there's going to be more charges coming. I do. And for Kate Peter.
Is more than appropriate.
Okay. Just make 2 points in response. One, I don't think it's entirely true that.
See Aiden's eyes right there? Right there. Aiden's eyes. That was classic. Oh my God. That was so good. Because, Cosgrove, you're so full of it. Nobody's believing you. Nobody is believing you. Look at this guy. He's going to try to deny that this happened, that Kate Peter's responsible for this.
The affiant was simply relying on recounting hearsay. If she was, that would say something about the credibility of the affidavit as well. But I seem to recall, Your Honor, that at this one point, the affiant represented that she was present when Ms. Peter, I believe it was having a phone conversation with Hank Brennan, and she, the affiant, recognized Hank Brennan's voice because she was familiar with it. So I don't think it was simply a matter of hearsay. The second thing I'd say is.
So there you go. So it's not hearsay. She had a first. Okay, you made a point there. She heard Hank Brennan. I mean, is that really good for you that she heard Hank Brennan on the phone with Kate Peter? Okay, you made it. I'm not going to disagree with you. There is, like Bettero said, there's a lot of hearsay. A lot of the information she got in her affidavit is from Kate Peter directly. But there was that one instance where she claimed that she heard Brennan on the phone with Kate Peter. Okay. You made a point, I guess, against Bettero's statement, but I don't see how it helping you, bro, at all. Let's go on.
The identity of this person is all over the internet. and was all over the internet at the time and was before you the other day. I don't know what the interest is, given those circumstances. I don't know what the interest is, given those circumstances. Hank Brennan, and she, the affiant, recognized Hank Brennan's voice because she was familiar with it. So I don't think it was simply a matter of hearsay. The second thing I'd say is that the identity of this person is all over the internet.
That is a freaking lie. You know what, Cosgrove? You just lied. Nobody knew it was Gene. Nobody. I wanted to tell everyone it was Gene. I knew it was Gene. I held on to that. And the person that outed Gene was Kate Peter, and we saw it on her Twitter account. So you can't. It's so funny. Well, it couldn't be Kate Peter. It couldn't have been Kate Peter who did that to Gene's door, because Kate Peter had already doxed Gene from Dorchester. That's what you're saying, dude. You're a friggin' clown. You were so full of shit, dude. How did you become such a scumbag? I thought you were supposed to have a good reputation, Mr. Cosgrove. Do you really need the money? Has your wife spent all? I don't know. Like, what's up, dude? You got a pension. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you lying? Why are you being dishonest, dude? Kate Peter doxed Gene from Dorchester. We saw it. I didn't even know Gene's full name until I saw Kate Peter put it up. So you're lying. You are so full of shit, dude. Nobody knew her name. Think about that. If I didn't know her last name, I've been talking to her for months. The only people who knew her last name were the defense team and the Commonwealth. And Kate Peter found out instantly, doxed her on Twitter and on the door that she posted that nasty shit on Gene's door. And your response is that, oh, it couldn't have been, she couldn't have doxed her by intimidating her by the door because Kate already doxed her on Twitter. Are you shitting me, dude? This is what I love about Betero. This is what I'm so happy about and proud of, is that we brought Betero in, and Betero knows every detail of this case, inside and out. He's a machine on this shit.
And was all over the internet at the time and was before you the other day. I don't know what the interest is, given those circumstances, in concealing it in the court papers.
Judge, I'm sorry, I'm
Couldn't have been Kate Peters that did that, her neighbor, to her door, because Kate Peters had already doxed her to the internet. It could have been anyone else that Kate Peters doxed her to already. I mean, that is quite a response. It couldn't have been Kate Peters that did that to Gene's door, because Kate Peters had already doxed all of Gene's information on the internet. It could have been any one of Kate Peters' followers instead. I mean, that is some self-snitching right there, bro. You're actually like telling on your own defense. I mean, this is just, are you shitting me, dude? Are you freaking shitting me? Kate Peters could have done it because she had already doxed Gene online.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Could I just add one thing? Yeah, go ahead. Apparently these things that were affixed to her door in her apartment building, which is the same apartment building that Ms. Peters lives in. And I think the implication was made at the time. First of all, that event was publicized by Mr. Kearney on the internet, with photographs of the door in question. And I guess I would just question Your Honor, the source of those documents, let's put it that way.
Okay. Very quickly, Your Honor. In terms of this individual's name being on the internet, there are two reasons for that. The first is because Ms. Peter identified her publicly and led to this kind of harassment. The other reason, and this was no question a mistake, but Mr. Cosgrove mentioned her name accidentally, and no question, no malintent, but her name was stated in open court, and as you can see, people watch in court, online, and whatnot. So the fact that her name had been put out accidentally through no fault, with no malintent, is not a reason I think you just open up the affidavit to her name.
Okay, thank you all. So we have a date for, what was it, August?
Think about that too. How much of a scumbag? I mean, the affidavit's already been out there in terms of what she wrote in it. This is about releasing Jean's information to the public. This scumbag Cosgrove, after Jean has already been doxxed by Kate Peters, their informant, both with the picture that she took of what she was put on her door, but also with what happened online. He wants to put her shit out there. Like, why would you do that? It's only one reason. Punish Jean. That's it.
What was the date, man?
August 13th.
August 13th. And then we'll pick a date for the other issue. Am I correct, Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
It's the end of the month
Now, or do you want to pick it on?
Why don't we pick it on the 13th? I think that makes sense.
All right, I may have some, I'm sorry, I should be saying.
That's okay.
I may have some information about,
And you know what? I know Mr. Betterow wants to this is what they do. They give the benefit of the doubt to each other as legal attorneys. But I don't think that was accidental, that Cosgrove gave her name out. Do you? Do you folks think that he accidentally gave out Jean's name, Cosgrove, in court? Do you think that was an accident? I'm not buying it. And I'm not sure if Mr. Betterow is actually buying that, even though he says it in court to be polite. And Mr. Betterow is very good at his job. He's doing the right thing for his client. I'm not doubting that at all. But if I had to bet on it, I'd bet that he did that on purpose, because that's exactly what I see from that office over and over and over again. Remember when they doxed Jennifer Altman? Oh, that was a mistake too, right? When Mello doxed Jennifer Altman. Remember that one? And then she got harassed. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. And I could see in the chat, none of you are buying it either. None of you are buying it. You think, yeah, and Betterow is a class act. I mean, he's doing the right thing. No criticism there. That's what he's supposed to do. Because the judge is watching. The judge looks at decorum, and Betterow has the right decorum. That's why he gets the respect of that courtroom. But I bet even if Betterow had to bet on it, I bet he would bet with us. Yeah, Bradel was doxxed. They were all doxxed. Pretty sure Courtney Healy was doxxed too, right? Not buying it.
That's
the health status at that time.
all right. We'll see you all on August 13th. Okay, thank you all.
One
Well, that's
more.
it.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, there's more.
I believe we have an agreement, Mr. Bradel has responded relative to the source code for accessing the search of the devices. And he's indicated.
One thing too, for people that don't know, there's a rock. I consider this person a rock star right here on the left. I don't know if you can see the cursor, but right here. Do you see it? She's got the blonde here. She's sitting right behind Bradel. She's got the lighter top, darker pants. That is Courtney That is Courtney. She's the paralegal for this. She's the one who helped get Jean on board, the one I was talking about earlier. If you see Courtney, thank Courtney just as much as you do these attorneys. And Jean from Dorchester, if you ever get to see her.
That there was the same source code previously provided to Lieutenant Tully, and that he would supply it again if necessary. And I've indicated to him that that's appropriate, and I think he should supply it today. And I don't think there's a disagreement with that.
All right. You don't disagree with that, do you? All right.
It's the correct word. Paralegal. That's Brado's paralegal, Courtney. I don't know if I said that right, but I appreciate you correcting me. Courtney is the paralegal.
I'll see you on this Thursday.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, that's it. I guess, you know what? I'm probably going to wrap it up now and maybe check in on that select board. Maybe we'll just finish it off and we'll go back and see if anything good, juicy going on over there. I guess that was a quick meeting. I was just looking at the Canton Select Board. It looks like it's already over. Yeah, it's already over. I guess they got through that meeting quick tonight. So I guess that's it. I think we're pretty much done tonight. Thank you, Ask Bob. He's been a member for 14 months. Thank you for sticking around, Ask Bob. Good to see you tonight, bro. Big Canton supporter. Kelly R., thank you so much for the $5 donation. Says, huge demotion for Buchanan. No more overtime. Oh, yes, we did read that earlier. Thank you so much. I want to thank our mods tonight in the chat, Sarah and MJ and Stephanie and Jeno and Scott McGinnis. Thank you so much to our mod team. I want to thank Tina. Tina R. just sent $20 on the Venmo just a couple minutes ago. She says, free Turtleboy. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tina Rowe. Also, Maureen D also sent $10 tonight. She says, I enjoy your show, Mike, from Maureen from Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much for Portland, Oregon. Great city. Thank you so much, Maureen. I think that's it. I did make sure I want to thank Carrie B. Carrie B said $20 a couple days ago. She said, shout out to Skip Tracer. That's Eric Neal, the one who really provided all the information on Joe Warren. Your hard work is not gone unnoticed. I agree. I like the Skip Tracer. It's funny. At first, I didn't like him. We kind of clashed a little bit, but I begrudgingly was like, okay, this guy I can talk to. He hears you out. He hears the other side. And I think Eric's a good guy. Eric Neal, Skip Tracer. I appreciate the info he provides for the public. He's very good at it. And if you have any issues with privacy or you need some help, he's got a lot of courses and he'll offer you advice and suggestions, especially if you're being harassed or stalked. So I think he's a great guy and definitely agree. Kerry, thank you for that donation the other night. And thank you to the Skip Tracer, Eric Neal from Middleton, for providing all that information. He did a lot of research on Joe Warren with the FOIAs he did. All right, I think I'm good. Let me check one more time. I keep checking. To see if no, we haven't heard back. Well, I'm still. I think we're gonna have a big show tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. Oh my God, this is so funny. So I'm going to read something I just got, which is bizarro. This is how lowly these trolls are. They can't handle losing. This guy just threatened me, Sir John McAdams on Twitter. Let me just read this one. This is friggin' hilarious. Actually, let's bring it up. This is the last comedy. These fucking trolls. I'm gonna do something I never do. I'm gonna fucking share his messages to me because I thought it was ridiculous, and I want you to see how effed up these people are. Okay, so let's put this up. Get this up. Hold on one second. So this clown going after the jurors again. He's another one. He just basically went up to Paula, one of the jurors on Twitter. It was basically calling her out and calling her and the jurors not intelligent. And I screen captured exactly what he wrote. Sir John McAdams, he wrote, 9 of the 12 jurors were intelligent. In the first Karen retrial, they voted 9-3 in favor of manslaughter. That's why Jackson and former juror Little wanted less intelligent, lower income people. So I basically called them out. How do I get this stupid thing off? I called him. I said less intelligent. Attorney Elizabeth Little was not a juror in the first trial. This guy's a moron. So he basically made a mistake in his post, right? So he sends me this message. This is his message. It's immediate. Oh wait. Let me put it up. So he redoes his tweet, apparently changes it to trainer. He changes it to trainer, right? Okay, you edited your post. Congratulations. And I don't think actually you can't edit replies. So he made a new post apparently. This is a new post. This is not the same post that I screen captured. Do you see this post right now? That's not what I posted. So now he claims delete your manipulation of my post, please. Clearly, Trader was the former juror, not Little. But that's not what you said, jackass. I screen captured exactly what you wrote. Then he says, I'm not one to block people outside of trolling, but this is beyond crossing the line. And then he blocked me like that. Oh my God, I got blocked on Twitter. Oh my God, this guy is such a clown. Oh my God, these people are so freaking funny. It's like, dude, I screen captured your fucking post. And then you made a new post and now you're trying to claim that. What a liar. These people are, oh my God, they are such liars. They are such jokers. Yeah, he said I changed his post. How do I change a post with a screen capture? We all saw it. We were all laughing at it. There were like 10 comments calling him out on it. Like on his post. It's freaking hilarious. He changed his post and then pretended to put it up to me and be like, "You changed my post." Like, I know who is Trainer. I'm like, who the hell is Trainer? I'm like, who the hell's Trainer? I don't even know who he's talking about. Is he on drugs? Like, seriously, 45 followers. I know, right? I'm going to get blocked by someone with 45 followers. Holy shit, what will I do? I'm going to be up all night today. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to block him. And it's, you know what? It's going to hurt him more than me because I got 20 something thousand followers or whatever. And I provide actual real info that's credible, not some made up shit. These people are hilarious. Yeah, it's probably one of his 45 burner accounts. Fucking McAlberts. Yeah, I know, right? I can't believe it. I just some of the messages you get from these people, the threats, the voicemails. There was that one guy. I always thought it was Rogue. Actually, I don't know if it was Rogue. It could have been a couple other people. I thought it was someone else too. But there was that one guy who kept calling me. He was always calling me, and then I started letting it go to voicemail. And then one day he left the voicemail, and that was like the best thing ever because I got to play it on the show. And then he stopped calling. Friggin' coward. Such a coward. And that's what it is. They're all friggin' cowards. They would never say it to my face. They would never say it to these pipes over here. You know? They're like, oh, Mike's so nice. He's like Scooby-Doo, but they don't realize that not only do I got the pipes, I got the movement. I'm super fast. I was a track star and a wrestling star. And the reason I was a wrestling star is because I was so freaking quick. I'd have the dude taken down before they even knew what was going on. They'd be like, holy shit. Uh-oh. I'm going to try to make this happen for you, Lizzie. I'm not saying it's not tomorrow. It's definitely not tomorrow. But there's a chance that might happen. I think that actually, we'll see. I'm going to follow up on it. I want to do it. I would love to have Howie on the show. That would, like, can you imagine the shit we could talk about with the gangsters and the Winter Hill gang and the politicians? Did you see that clip that they put out from 60 Minutes when he says Kevin Weeks, he's got the guy, he's got the, I think it's, I'm trying to think who the journalist is. I'm going to say the name wrong. I know who he is. He's a big time journalist for 60 Minutes for years. I think he's retired now. But he's sitting there with Howie Carr. He's got Howie Carr in a one-on-one, and then he's got a one-on-one interview with Kevin Weeks. So he's going back and forth in the interview with them. And he's basically saying to Howie, like, did you know that this happened? And Kevin Weeks is telling the story where they went, Whitey put a hit out on Howie Carr. And Whitey wanted Howie dead. And Kevin Weeks showed up at Howie's house, was staking it out at the graveyard across from Howie's house. And he was out there at 5:30 in the morning waiting for Howie Carr to come out of the house. And Howie Carr came out of the house at 7:30 in the morning, but he was holding the hand of his daughter. And he had previously also said that they had considered blowing up the house. They had some dynamite. They were thinking about doing that, but they knew he had a family and kids, so they didn't want to harm the children. Kevin Weeks didn't. And so when Howie walked outside the house holding the hand of his daughter, Kevin Weeks decided not to do it because he didn't want to do it in front of Howie's daughter. And Howie turns around and says at the interview, I don't think Kevin Weeks had the stones to actually do it. I think that's why it didn't happen, which is interesting. I wonder if he still feels like that. I'd like to ask him about that as well. But he also turned around and said, but if it had been Whitey Bulger there in the graveyard, yeah, I think I would have been dead. I think he would have done it because Whitey was a stone cold killer. If you look at some of the things that they did, they would kill people in the basement, dig up Flemmy's mother's basement, and they'd pull out the teeth and do all that. And Whitey's upstairs in up in the mother's living room taking a nap after it was nothing. He would just kill somebody and then just take a nap. Can you imagine? God forbid if I cause any physical harm to anyone, even in an accident, I think I would have a very hard time sleeping. This guy kills somebody and he just takes a nap. He takes a nap while Kevin Weeks and Flemmy are digging a hole and pulling out the teeth in the basement. Whitey's taking a nap. Yeah. And look who he killed too. It was a woman. It was basically what happened with that. Debbie Davis, Jesus Christ, some of the stories, Flemmy has a girlfriend. She's got a daughter. He starts sleeping with the daughter who's underage. He's telling her she's been around a long time. She knows all the secrets. She's I believe she might have been even on drugs. Think about it. I mean, if your mother's boyfriend is a gangster who's sleeping with you underage, you probably end up on drugs or get into some trouble too. And she gets picked up, I think, for something like shoplifting, and she starts telling stories. She starts dropping dimes on Flemmy to try to get out of I believe it was a shoplifting charge, and they caught wind of that, and that's what happened to Debbie. I believe it was Debbie Davis. I think that if I got the names right. And then there's the brother, the Steve Davis. If you ever seen him speak outside the courtroom, during the Whitey trials. Man, that brother, I had to really feel for him. And that's what killed me too about the whole Winter Hill gang and the Whitey Bulger gang is all the people that they killed that really had nothing to do with the gang. Like really innocent people, like the brother of somebody, like they mistook him. They didn't care. They were just so reckless. They would basically kill anybody. And I got to say, like the Italian mafia, for all the shit that they get, I feel like they, especially in Boston, they were actually like more mature. Like they would, I felt like they wouldn't have done a lot of the stuff that Whitey Bulger did. And that's the tragedy is that the FBI wanted the more established gang. They took them down using the Wild Boys who were Whitey Bulger, and you create more of a monster. So a lot of the Italian mafia, mostly they were just doing booking. They were bookies. Not that I'm not pro gangs or pro mafia or any of that stuff, but I'm just saying. I think if you look at who created more violence, I think it was the Irish Whitey Bulger faction more than the Italian mafia that the FBI was so focused on. Yeah. And that's the thing too. That's what's so interesting about this. All of them have connections. Morrissey goes back to the Bulgers and the Kennedys. He does. That he came up on that generation. So it's so fascinating about all this stuff. And you wonder if there aren't some rackets going on. There was some slot machines at some of the local, I think it was like VFW clubs and maybe some of the, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe it wasn't VFW. I don't want to get in trouble saying the wrong places. But there were some local clubs on the Cape that had some illegal lottery machines, some illegal, I don't know, what do you call those? One-armed bandits, slot machines, some games. And there were some stories about the DA, Michael O'Keefe. Funny, his last name's O'Keefe too, huh? But this O'Keefe character, this DA of the Cape and Islands, he came under a lot of scandal about that too, on whether he had tipped them off because some of those people were his friends, and and we never really found out. There was some newspaper grumblings, but again, we never found out. I would not be surprised if a lot of that shit's going on with Morrissey too. It really seems like it. It seems like there's some types of protection rackets going on. I think there's something bigger to this. And I think the FBI is watching everything. I do. You know what I miss? Look up DA. Let's look it up. I'll bring it up real quick. I wanted to get out of here, but I'll try to bring it up real quick. You can reference what I'm talking about. But that's the thing. A lot of this stuff gets whispered about, even when it gets brought up in the Cape. Here it is. Feds. This is again another federal probe. This is a federal probe of another DA in Massachusetts. Did you know that it's happened before? And the feds did nothing. And I think there was some smoke and fire to this one, and it went nowhere. Here it is. Like I said, I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of things in Massachusetts over the years. And this is one of the things that I covered in the past a little bit briefly or looked into it. But again, a lot of times it goes nowhere, even with the feds, when the feds get involved. And it's hard to look into this stuff a lot because, you need subscriptions to all these newspapers. Who's got the money or the time to sign up for them all? Cape Cod Times, feds abandoned pro of DA O'Keefe. This was back in, 2012? Yes, June 10th or June 19th, 2012. Alleged connection between Cape and Islands District Attorney Michael O'Keefe and 3 admitted Cape gamblers has ended. So here's these guys in Dennisport and Barnstable. They pled guilty to running a sports betting business. And apparently there was some connection between them and the DA. And the feds were looking into it. There was a probe and it went nowhere. And what's interesting is this attorney, Robert George, He ended up losing his license for taking some money from some gangsters. He's also the attorney that represented the killer, the convicted killer of Christina. What is her name? Something Worth. The one that was killed in Truro. No, people remember that case. It was a big case. He was the one who represented the man that was found guilty of it, and I still think he's. I'm not convinced he did it. I interviewed the uncle of one of the other witnesses who may have done that murder. Actually, the Kristen Worthington case. There was a couple of witnesses that were involved in that testified against the dude who was convicted of it, and the uncle on my show told me that the nephew admitted he had something to do with that murder, even though he was a witness and said he wasn't there. And that was again, O'Keefe was the prosecutor, and he was connected to some shady shit with the feds. The feds did a probe of him. Robert George was involved in both these cases. It's very interesting. And Robert George ended up losing his license. So there's a lot of shit that's gone on in the state that hasn't gotten fully aired out, I got to say. But that's not tonight. We're going to go. I'll see you sometime, hopefully tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow night I might have a big show. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know. Check us out on YouTube or Twitter. Check in, make sure. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.